Hey guys, my name is Tonya Wilson. I am the author of A Way Out, the memoir about my childhood and my journey through the foster care system. Today, I just wanted to do a question and answer video. I've been getting a lot of questions on Twitter, and I just wanted to answer some of you guys' questions. So let's get right on into it. The first question is, when and why did I begin to write? I started writing when I was about 10 years old. Um, and I only started writing because I felt that I couldn't really express myself appropriately. So I would just write everything down, diary, notebook, whatever I could find, you name it, I was writing on it. So, a lot of times I just didn't want to share certain things, or some things I just didn't want to tell people. So I would just write it down. So that's when and why I began to write. Um, what did you first consider? I first considered myself a writer the day I published this book. All the things I had done before was just kind of like me expressing myself, things that were just in my diary or my journal. So I didn't really consider myself a writer until I put this book together and published it, the day that I published it. So let's see, what inspired me to write this book? What inspired me to write it is my life story. Um, I just felt like everybody that I was around, people, my friends, or just in my line of work too, just expressing myself and explaining, my story or telling something that happened to me always inspired others, always encouraged them to move on, you know. Um, so I felt like maybe I should just put it all into a book and put it out because maybe I could inspire others to keep going. So that was what kind of inspired me to do this. Do I have a specific writing style? I wouldn't say that I have a specific writing style. I would just say that whatever I write, I like to keep it very real, very raw. Um, you know, like anything that you get from me is gonna be definitely just true. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be definitely raw. So that's what I would say my writing style is. Let's see. How did I come up with the title? Well, I kind of had like a notebook and like five different pieces of paper, and I just started like writing everything that came to my head, all different kinds of titles down on the paper. And one day I would call it one title, then the next day I would call it a different title. So then finally, when I got down to like the sixth title, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it this, and that's just it. I'm not gonna keep doing this because I'm never gonna find it out, figure out what kind of title I want or anything. And so then the day that I did my book cover, I was like, oh, this just doesn't go. This just doesn't sound right. I was finished with the book. I put the finished touches on the book and everything, and I was like, oh, this title don't work. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna call it A Way Out, and that's just it. So it's crazy, but this is how I came up with the title. Um, what books am I reading now? This book right here. I am reading this book right here. Khadijah's Life in Motion, Jatasha Sharif, by Jatasha Sharif. I haven't really gotten into it. I just read like the beginning, the the intro, and but so far so good. I think it's gonna be a really good book, really good book. But maybe you guys could read it with me. Go get it, and then we all could be reading it together. And then I will definitely give you guys updates when I finish it. But this is the book I'm reading now. Um, any current projects that I'm working on? Um, I'm currently working on part two. It's going to talk about the transition from me leaving foster care into my adult life. It's going to talk about the transition from me accepting Islam and having to change my life completely. So I'm going to definitely be talking about that. So it's going to be good. So stay tuned. Trust me, everything that happened to me in my past is not ended. So stay tuned. And I mean that not in the good and not in the bad way either. So stay tuned. Um, do I see writing as a career? I do kind of see writing as a career for me. But I will tell you this, I will not I'm just I could do a lot of different things, so I won't just do writing. Um, that would just be something that I'm always constantly doing, but amongst other things. So yeah, I see writing as a potential career for me as well. Um, if I had to do it all over again, what would I change? Um, hmm, I would probably change my timing. Um, what I mean by that is I would take my time on it. I wouldn't rush it. I felt like I rushed it, even though it took me 10 months. And that may seem like a long time for people who've been writing and popping books every 3, 4, 5 months, but 10 months, it took me a long time because I had to really put myself back into that, that little girl, so it took me a little while. I'm not saying that future books may take me 10 months to write. I don't think so at all. But that one, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I would change, if I had to do it all over again. Um, oh, you were, okay. This person's an aspiring writer. Uh, they want to know if I find anything particularly challenging. Um, okay, what I find particularly challenging about writing is when you're trying to put a book together. It's just getting it down on paper. It's different when you're writing a journal and it's up to date, and you're just kind of like writing what happened that day or what happened to you or how you feeling that day or whatever. It's different when you're trying to put it all together in a book to make sense. And in order, in a certain order, and the structure and everything. So I find that just getting it down is a start, but it's the hardest thing to do. Am I going to be traveling? I am going to be doing some traveling. You guys can stay tuned. Check out my website, www.tonyacwilson.com, and all the updates and the upcoming dates will be on there as well. So I will keep you guys posted. Um, what was the hardest part about writing this book? The hardest part about writing this book was um, just taking myself back through those feelings, through those emotions, through um, to when I was that little girl, and everything that I was feeling in. So just trying to get that out on paper, expressing myself. So that was the hardest thing about writing this book. Um, do I have any advice for you as an upcoming writer? I would say definitely take your time. As I said, I felt like that was one of my mistakes. Take your time and get an editor. Um, get an editor. You definitely want to get an editor. I mean, I know that it's very expensive and it's a drawn out process, but you want your stuff to be right. So get an editor. If you can afford to get an editor, get an editor. If you can't afford an editor, one of the tricks I think would be helpful would be to organize a group of people that you feel comfortable with that will read your manuscript and go through it for you. And I mean a group of people, like at the very least, like 5 people. You know, um, and you go through that thing sentence by sentence, and you figure it out. But that's the price you pay for not getting an editor. Um, and also getting a marketing team. If you don't have any background in it, um, or the willpower to market your stuff, get a marketing team. It'd be very beneficial. Um, do I still talk to my parents? Yes, I still talk to my parents. It is very challenging. However, I love my parents regardless. I'm grateful you only get one set of parents in your lifetime. So I love them regardless, and it's very challenging, but I definitely still talk to them, still keep in contact with them, check on my parents, and try to help out as much as I can. Um, and especially my mother. My mother she's not gonna go anywhere. I don't care how mad she gets with me or how mad I get with her, whatever, she's gonna always be there for me. Um, how are the members of my family? Well, I haven't gotten any weird phone calls or anything from anyone, so I'm assuming that everybody is being supportive right now. Did I marry David in the book? Yes, I did. And we have been married for about 5 years, almost 5 years. How is my son, Khalid? He is doing really good. He will be 7 years old soon, and he is healthy. He's doing really, really good. Thank you for asking. I'm gonna stop right there. You guys could follow me on Twitter at Tonya C. Wilson. You can follow me on Instagram at Arthur T.C. Wilson. You could follow me on Facebook at Arthur Tonya C. Wilson. And you could check out my website for any updates, www.tonyacwilson.com. Um, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.